George Bruno with the 21 Report. We're at the 21 Convention, the final event of the decade, and I'm talking with Steve the Dean Williams. Good to have you here.
Thank you so much for having
Absolutely.
me, man. Love it.
How'd it go today?
Today was great. It was great. Just like every day, it's just meeting new people. Mm-hmm. It's talking with the speakers, and it's just the atmosphere and the environment. It was second to none. Perfect.
You are like such a part of the gang now. I can't even imagine having a 21 convention without you now.
Thank you.
It's like you've been here for years. You just you fit right in, and you have like your own little fan club, and everybody loves you here. What did you talk about this time?
Well, today what I talked about this time was basically your thoughts lining up with your behaviors. Mm-hmm. What I did was I asked everybody at the beginning who wants money. If you were offered money, would you take it? And they rose their hand. And then I threw pennies, dimes, and nickels on the ground. And I waited for somebody to get up and come get the money. Mm-hmm. And what I was showing guys is that sometimes your thoughts, if they're not in line with your behaviors, you're just fantasizing and dreaming, and you're not really going after what it is you want. So that's what we discussed.
Wow, a true motivational speech.
Oh, yes,
then.
Absolutely.
Oh, that's fantastic. How is that applicable to everyday life?
Well, for a lot of gentlemen out there, unfortunately, if your behaviors don't line up with what you think, you're just fantasizing and dreaming. If I want to be a man, or I want to grow, and I want to do different things. And if all you're doing is thinking about those things and not formulating a plan to do those things, you're not doing those. And that's why I brought Thanos, in the second part, I talked about Thanos and how he had so much drive that he didn't care who was in his way. He didn't care what people thought about him. He was going to reach his goal, and once he reached his goal, he left it there and moved on to the next goal. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
You use a lot of mythology and that kind of stuff in your presentations. It just seems like it really it applies to our journeys today.
Yeah, most of the time what you see on TV sometimes, they kind of give you stories and they kind of give you tips on some life lessons on your journey. Yeah. And even with The Lion King, they were saying, there are those that can feast, and then you have others that lay in the darkness waiting for scraps. It was something that I said, and that's the same thing that I always try to let guys know that, even though it's there, you got to start looking at it and question with your eyes and also begin to question with your ears.
What is the difference, and I'll use one of your phrases, grass-eating lions, what's the difference between a grass-eating lion and the true meat carnivore lion?
Well, the grass-eating lion does, like I say, it's like an impossible burger, made of trees and leaves and grass. Mm-hmm. And these guys are sitting around fantasizing or thinking about, okay, I want to be a man. I know what it takes to be a man, but I'll do it tomorrow.
Yeah.
I want to be a man. I want to know what it takes to be a man. Oh, my toe hurts. Mm-hmm. So it's nothing but excuses. It's like if we're in the Serengeti, it's like a hippo saying, hey, you know what? You don't have to learn how to hunt, and you don't have to lock in on your prey. Why don't you do this? I've got this impossible zebra burger. It tastes just like zebra, but it's made out of grass. And you can have this, and you don't have to work hard. Mm-hmm. You don't have to be accountable, and you don't have to be responsible. You can eat this fake burger instead of doing the real thing. And that's why I call them that, because grass-eating lions pretend to be a lion until it's time to be a lion.
Accountable and responsible.
Yes.
Why is that important?
Accountability and responsibility is important because it gives you a marker of where you're at and where you need to go. Mm-hmm. You see, I always tell guys all the time, you can watch all the YouTube shows and you can read all the books you want to read. But I tell guys, turn the pages of a book, you don't feel anything. Watch a YouTube, you don't feel anything. It's when you get in the moment of what we call the game, when you're in front of that woman, that gives you your marker on what you really are opposed to what you think you are.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Interesting. Well, you have a pretty big following, and I know you and I was on your show for, I guess, 4 or 5 Fridays.
Yes.
We did that.
Yeah. Oh, great.
And you have such a faithful following of people. And what is that show called?
The Man Mindset? The Man Mindset. Oh, yeah, it's just the Man Mindset show. Oh, but our show we did was the it was the Red Pill Live. It was a Red Live.
Okay.
The Red Line. It was
Yeah,
the Red Line show,
gotcha.
yes.
And I notice you you do a lot of live stuff.
Yes.
Tell me about your live broadcasts. I mean, that's a lot of people. A lot of people record. You know, they video record
Yeah.
their presentations. That way, it can be edited. When you go live, there's no editing.
No, you got to know it. Yeah, authentic. I want to show.
There's no taking those words back once they leave your mouth.
Right. I want to show the authenticity that I'm just not a what they would consider like a pickup artist or a gimmick or a trick.
Yeah.
I'm just a man that has lots of information. Again, I started at 9 years old, so
Yeah.
I have lots of information, but I'm not afraid to share it. I welcome the show. I mean, if you know me, I do like 4 or 5 hour shows. I mean,
do.
just kick them out one
Yeah,
after the other.
you pound them out.
Right, but I have a lot of information. But I want to let people know that I understand you. I empathize on one hand, but I'm going to punch you in the chest on the other hand because I don't want you to feel like life or the game feel sorry for you because
Yeah.
they don't. They don't care about any of us because they're like it's like a current.
Yeah.
It's always just going to move in one direction, and now they're going to go with the current, or you're going to try to go against the current, or you're not going to even try to put your toe in the current. So.
How do you do such a long show?
Because I just have the drive. I love you know when you love what you're doing, you just do it because
Yeah.
you love what you're doing. I just love helping people. The reward that I have is when they say, Steve, this is where I was, and because of you, and again, it's not an ego trip, but because of some of the things I learned from
Yeah.
you, I apply them to my life, and I begin to see the change. I begin to see my value, my worth
Yeah.
in my last name. So yeah.
I notice that there's a lot of guys that talk about theories out there.
Yes.
And you talk about application in real life. There's
Yes.
not a lot of theoretical, pie in the sky kind
Right.
of stuff.
Well, I always go back to Elvis Presley, to some guys who you find out about me first. Elvis wasn't like the king of rock and roll. Elvis went across the street from the Baptist churches and stuff and learned how to shake his hips
Okay.
from across the street. Then he came back to his side of the street, and then everybody thought, wow, he's the originator of it.
Yeah.
Well, you and I have come before the internet. So you and I have a different perspective of what real life is versus what has been concocted in the internet.
Yeah.
So a lot of guys have come and went on the streets, talked to the pimps, the players, the hustlers, the Macs, and the real men such as yourself, but they take pieces of what you do and then they will call it game, like going to a pig, grabbing a ham, and then telling everybody this is a real pig.
Yeah.
And so what they do is they hurt guys more. I like guys giving out information, but when you're giving a piece of the pie instead of giving the whole pie, you're doing more damage than good.
Yeah. You talk a lot about stuff that was going on before the internet.
Yes, all the time.
Which was real life.
Yes. Yes.
Which was real life.
Yes.
There wasn't a lot of guys gathering, watching videos. It was just
Yes.
life.
Hunter be hunted. Yes.
Yeah, yeah. I like to say a lot of guys talk about like being an alpha, and there's just a ton of words.
Yeah,
you know, all
words.
these words that
Wordplay.
they use.
Yes.
And I tweeted something out in the past couple days where I said, what some people call alpha, I just call being a man.
Yes. Yeah, that's all.
I didn't have a label.
Well,
There was no label.
Well, the thing is now you have to make a label of something to try to separate yourself from everybody else, as everybody's trying to find a foot in the same type of area.
Yeah.
So what I just do is I just go back to nature.
Yeah.
You know, a lion's a lion. A lion was a lion in 12 BC. A lion was a lion in 54 AD.
Yeah.
He was a lion in 1928, 48, 72, and now he's a lion. The only
Yeah.
thing that changes is time
Yeah.
and space, and everything else changes around the
Yeah.
lion, but he still behaves in a lion type way. And that's all I try to tell him. Go back to nature. The lion doesn't tweet, he doesn't Facebook and things like that. He just is. And that's why I'm trying to show guys this is authentic. And I hate using the word game, but that's where the authentic comes from,
Yeah.
because I try to go everything I take back to nature.
Yeah, there was there's a lot of theoretical guys.
Yes.
A lot of experts online, but they never step foot outside their front door.
But okay, those who I call those people cult leaders, Smiths. If you're in the Bible, Antichrist or an agent, where the funny thing is a lot of guys don't know is that these guys are really working for women. See, a woman is not. Most guys won't trust a woman that has information. But who's to say a woman can't pay somebody
Yeah.
to give her information out to do more harm to these guys?
Right.
And that's why I always say you got to question with your eyes and question with your ears, because if you're getting if you see the guy visually. Now I can see you and I can look at you and tell, I've always told you you're a smooth, I can tell, game recognizing, I can
Right.
tell you're a smooth man with my eyes.
Yeah.
But with my ears was the reaffirmment because
Yeah.
of what came out of your mouth.
Right.
And every man that you meet, you should question, with your eyes and your ears to
Yeah.
see the authenticity. So what you're saying is, with a lot of guys out there, they're not authentic. They just have a following because what they see is there's a lot of guys out here hurting.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of guys out here who just might need that hug, or they feel like I'm lost.
Yeah.
And what they will do is they will herd them in and say, trust me as your Messiah.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
I've got you covered. And you got to protect me from everybody else. But I'm going to upload poisonous information because I haven't been out there doing it.
Right.
And the problem is with those guys, they never question with these two things. They just believe,
Right.
like a squeeze page in the 90s where it was a marketing ploy. If you take a drink right here, you know what? How we can sell this? Let's add a woman to it because we know the guys want women. So
Right.
it's just marketing ploys that they're using. But yeah, they don't come out of the woodwork because they're not really authentic. They
Yeah.
just pretend to be.
Authenticity. I got to write that word down because that's. I think that's important.
Yes.
That means being the same outside as you are inside. That's taking your knowledge and bringing it to the street, because it's easy to sit behind a computer
Right.
and be an expert.
But again, I'll use it as an example. I saw you, I heard you, but when I met you, that was the third reinforcement.
Yeah.
Receipts. You are always you, online, offline, and when the camera's off. You
Yeah.
are always one way.
Yeah.
Where these guys, they're generically created to pretend to be something.
Yeah.
And then when the light current turns off, they take off that fake mask, they take off their makeup, and then they go back to being the fake. Because a lot of people, unfortunately, are using the need of these young boys for their advantage to give them a way to either sell things and sell products and stuff.
Yeah. Now, at themandmindset.com,
Yes.
Tell me about a success story, someone that worked with your information, that started from a place of losing and ended up being a winner. Tell me about someone.
Oh, I have tons of those. Okay, I had a guy. My best student. He was 49 years old. He was just I won't say at the end, but he was getting close. He just felt really bad about himself, really suicidal, and he has gone through several of what we just talked about, where he would put his trust in somebody
Yeah.
only to be let down,
Yeah.
and then he stopped trusting.
Yeah.
He stopped trusting everybody. He needed help, but he stopped trusting.
Yeah.
When he came to me, like I tell all people, don't trust me. Don't believe a word that I say. Do your homework on
Yeah.
me. Ask questions with your eyes, and like I say, ask questions with your ears. Listen to the lives that I've changed before you even do anything. Then on top of that, unlike other people, call me. I'm not special. I'll talk to you. Let's talk a little bit
Yeah.
to see even if I can help you. Because I turn a lot of people away more than I bring in, because some people are just not teachable. So what I did was slowly help them out. And one thing about me is when they get a product, a lot of guys give people products and they never hear from them again.
Yeah.
I always tell these guys, once you buy a product, call me. If you have a question, not call me, but send me an email.
Yeah,
I'll
yeah.
call you. And gradually, I went with him every step of the way. And he had his bumps and his bruises, and he's fallen down. But, I'm not going to, there's no cuddle parties, or I'm going to punch you in your chest.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
this is life, and you got to accept the fact that you're excited about the woman, but she has every right to say no.
Yeah.
She's got every right to turn you down, and you got to accept that. So then once he started accepting that, it was like that Neo moment. And I don't know when everybody has their different moments. When the moment snapped, he got teary-eyed. Now, he didn't cry, but he kind of got choked up because he finally started to see that all this time I've been following guys who have hundreds of thousands of subscribers. I've been following these guys that have said that they can show me how to be a doctor in a day, so to speak. And I trusted them because the way they talking, and and I felt that because of his following, that he knew what he was doing. And yet I trusted him, gave him my money, only to feel that much worse. And he said, "You know what, Steve? You never forced me to buy anything. You've talked to me more than even the coaching." And I said, "Well, you know what? That's what we do, because look, yes, I do run a business, but it's not about the money. Yes, it's a business, but I want to help you, really want to help you." And as he got older and he got out of this, he met a woman, dated her, married to her, everything worked out. And he said, "It's because of me." I said, "No, it's not because of me, because I'm not trying to make you me. You are already you." And like the speech I told him, you're already a winner and you didn't realize it. But once you realize it, you took the information I gave you and you just incorporated it into your lifestyle. That's where you got the change. It wasn't me that did it. I just guided you. So yeah, he just then he took that information and he's passing that on to his son. But I said, it's yours now. You pass it on to your son with your last name. Has nothing to do with me.
Are all men capable of this?
Yes. Not only are all men capable of doing this, and I said in the 21 convention, I asked everybody, there's a cliche, everybody's a winner. Do y'all believe that? And they were like, no. I said, y'all are absolutely wrong. I said, when your mother and father got together and your daddy, spit some game at mommy and things happened. And when he had his orgasm, there was a great race between you and millions of your brothers and sisters to get to the egg.
Yeah.
And there were things inside mommy that were preventing, that were, things that were white T cells or whatever. But you had the drive, the passion, and the discipline to reach the egg. That makes you a winner.
Yeah.
It's just somewhere along the journey,
right,
you forgot what you were. You never lost it.
Yeah.
You've always had it. It's just been caged up. So allow me to help you find it, forge the key, unlock it, and then tame it, because it's like a wild animal, because you haven't been using it. I mean, think about this, George. When we were kids, you can give me a piece of paper, give me a crayon, give me a paintbrush, and we would go on adventures. We could go out in the woods and grab a stick and make it a gun.
Yeah.
Like we're shooting it. And you never cared what anybody thought about you. You never thought about rejection. There were no fears. It was just excitement and adventure. You've lost that somewhere. And all I'm trying to do is get you back to what you lost, because it's always been there.
Right.
And that's what they don't understand. They've always had it, brother.
So you facilitate change in people, showing them the power that they have, that they don't think they have, and that no man is beyond help.
No man is beyond help. You just have to stop believing the stories. When you believe the story, you take on the story. And the story is nothing but a story. I always tell people, it's really none of my business. That means if the news wants to tell me something, or one of those guys wants to use certain words and phrases, and you want to use those, eyes and ears first, and then you don't have to believe the story. You can listen to the story. It's like turning on TV. I can listen to the news.
Yeah.
I can watch the news, and I can have an opinion of the news. But don't believe the story, because if you accept the story, then you take on the story and the pathway of the story.
Right. A lot of people talk about the phrase keeping it real. Most of the people who say that they're keeping it real are not keeping it real.
Right.
I find that your advice is keeping it real. What's the difference between your type of counsel, what you teach, and other gurus and YouTubers and all this kind of stuff.
It's like night and day. And I'll use surgery as an example. You see, as keeping it real with my mentor, I could ask questions, but my mentor, I could never question my mentor because he was success.
Yeah.
I wanted to learn from him,
Yeah.
so I soaked it up. But within that success, what people are doing today is that they are giving you a bag of goods, as in, I can teach you how to be a doctor in a day. I can show you how to fly a jet plane in a day. I can show you how to be a judge or accountant in a day. Just trust me. I've got the quick fixes. And these guys are blindly following these guys. And the thing that they do is then, which makes them even like it even more, is that they use their opinions to that. And asking a question is one thing, but your opinion sometimes really doesn't matter. And that, I mean, this is tough love right here, because that's like me going on YouTube and watching how to be a doctor.
Yeah.
Do you think if I'm in surgery with a doctor that's doing an open heart surgery, do you think I have an opinion in that point?
Right.
I have no opinion,
Right.
because he knows more than I do. Sure, I can ask him a question, but who am I to give my thoughts on open heart surgery
Yeah.
when I know nothing about it?
Yeah.
So the difference between me and other guys is that I'm hardcore. Your opinion doesn't matter because you need to learn.
Right.
And it's not a bad thing to have a thought. I'm not saying don't have a thought, but when it comes to what I'm teaching you, we're going to take all your thoughts off, because your thoughts are the reason why you're here. See, if you add a little bit of poison or a little bit of spoiled milk to fresh milk, you've tainted the milk. So what we try to do is we try to clear you of those thoughts, because those stories, behaviors, and thoughts are the reasons why you're being held down. What a lot of these YouTubers like is they like interaction is one thing, but they make these people feel like they are a part of something when they're part of nothing.
Yeah.
And because they feel like they're a part of something, that's what makes them want to protect that. It's like a cult. When you feel like you're a part of a cult,
Yeah.
you're gonna love its leader,
Yeah.
but then you're going to fight for him. And it goes back to things that would happen in the Red Men group when things split up. People were just disliking the show because of the protection of the cult leader. And to me, that's not men. See, men don't behave that way.
Yeah.
I don't, look, if I don't like you, I don't have to listen to you. But why would I do a feminine thing
Yeah.
and try to hurt or harm you or destroy your knowledge because I don't like you?
Right.
And that's the difference. I don't want you to like me. I just ask for you to respect me. But I want you to know that you're not here. I'm not a cult leader. It like goes back to nature. The lion learns, the lion grows,
Yeah.
the lion leaves and
Yeah.
forms his own pride. I go back to nature. Learn from me and go. You don't have to stay. I don't want you to be me, and I'm not gonna call this a soap dish or a different name. This is a glass of water. This is it. Where these guys, they will take a glass of water and fix it up to be something else to try to separate themselves. And then they believe this, which takes them further out to sea,
Yeah.
instead of realizing that this guy, why would he tell me that this isn't a glass of water?
Yeah.
What is he thinking? What is he teaching? So I just try to get people to think at the end of the day, man.
What are some of the lies that men believe about themselves?
They believe that they can be a man overnight. They believe
Well,
that
you've said a couple times, this doctor in a day.
Doctor and Day, yeah.
That says a lot.
Yeah, oh, absolutely. Okay, you have to understand, since the seduction community in the 90s, the squeeze page, where, okay, I used to be just like you, and I used to hurt and all this, and then I drunk this water, and magically here I am with 38 beautiful women, and you can have those women too for $9.99 and all this other stuff. What these guys don't know is the game that they're being played with, because back then when they had those seduction community seminars, they didn't realize that people were using green screens. They would meet, have green screens, figure out ways to get more money out of guys, take $500 out of one guy, hire 4 women, put them in the club, and use them to back up the trick and the gimmick. It's like a magician. You're so busy looking here, but you just don't see what's going on back
Right.
here. That's the same thing. I can make you into a man, a doctor, a lawyer in a day, but the truth is you'll never be the doctor, the lawyer, or the man because I just want to get you to bite in and believe it. Then when you don't believe it, then I can sell you another product and push the narrative.
What's the first thing a man needs to do if he wants to change his life, stop believing the lies that he's always believed in? What are his first steps?
He's got to look in the mirror. He's got to stop lying. The first step always is stop lying to yourself. Don't think you know it. Don't think because you have a book. And here, please hear me out. Books are not bad. YouTubers are not bad. I'm not here to knock anybody, but I always tell guys, just turn 5 pages of a book.
Yeah.
What do you feel? Nothing.
Yeah.
Watch a YouTube. What do you feel? Nothing. But stand in front of a woman, all of a sudden, my hands get sweaty.
Yeah.
I get nervous.
Yeah.
Hey, that's when you know what you really are,
Right.
opposed to believing what you are because you flipped some pages
Right.
or somebody told you on a YouTube. So the first step is being honest with the guy in the mirror. Yes, you need help. Yes, I have problems, but the question is, how, next step, the information. That's where the homework comes in. Is this guy or does he have receipts? Again, like we said before, he can act like he's a ladies' man or he gets women, but where are his receipts?
Yeah.
Where are the women at?
Yeah.
Yeah, and I can just grab the phone and play something right now. You can hear a voice message from a woman. I got receipts to show you that, look,
Yeah.
I can get you what you want.
Right.
But the first step is being honest with yourself and then trusting me that I've got you covered.
I love that. I love that. You can't be a doctor in a day. You have to do the work, and you have to stop believing the lies that you've been told and what you believe about yourself. A conversation with Steve the Dean Williams. Thank you, sir.
Man, it was a pleasure all the time, man. I love you, man. You're the best. Yes.
What was your experience so far with the 21 convention?
Oh, outstanding, outstanding.
Professional all across the board. Really good energy with a lot of people, and I just like it because it's a very positive direction.
This, George, this has been a first-class event.
It's fantastic. You guys run a really tight ship. I've been to a lot of conventions over the course of my business career, and I can tell when things are well run and when things aren't, and this is a very well run operation. I was very impressed.
It's pretty incredible to see where Anthony's brought it, especially from last year, which was my first year here, and to see the upgrades he's made, it's been incredible.
I've got my notebook, and with every speaker, I've written down about 2 or 3 lines under each of the speakers of just the key prime stuff that I got. That's good. That's good.
It's very surreal, man. I'm
Yeah.
really enjoying it. I'm happy to live in such an era where such a thing like this is possible.
I have never seen a group of guys like this, a group of 200 men who are focused, squared away, they're working on their values, just never met a bigger group of wonderful guys.
It's kind of neat because I've been to a fair amount of conventions in my day, but you never see one where the guys like here you can just see Ed Lattimore talking to Tanner about boxing.
Yeah.
You just sit down and then you tell your boxing experiences. Everybody's kind of pinging off each other. It's
Yeah.
nice.
It has been fantastic, and it's been 4 days of guys all on the same page, working in the same direction.
Fascinating meeting some of the people, hearing their stories. You got people traveling from other parts of the world to come here just to see
Yeah.
some of the speakers. That's
Yeah.
amazing.
The thing that's impressed me is everybody here is very serious.
Yeah.
They're taking it, close to their heart.
What a great convention.
Thanks, George.